So, hello everyone. So I recently deployed my very first Google action for the Google Assistant, and shout out to everyone who tested it out. It's called Ghana Trivia. So if you have a Google Assistant and you want to help me by testing it, I just say, okay Google, talk to Ghana Trivia, and it will show up. So in this video, I want to talk about how to build your very first Google action. So let's get to it. Yeah, so before I begin, full disclosure, I'd like to say that I've been using GCP or the Google Cloud platform for about 2 years now. So I'm not like a beginner. Through Coursera and other projects, I've explored almost all the features of the Google Cloud platform, from Cloud ML, BigQuery, even Kubernetes. So I'm not like totally new to utilizing like cloud technology. Again, I've been exploring like chatbots and conversational AI for quite some time now. I'm using Google Cloud's Dialogflow, but I've also been exploring Amazon Alexa. I've never used Amazon Lex. Yeah, I've never used Azure before, so I don't really know how that works in it. But I've done a bit of Dialogflow and also Amazon Lex. But I decided to go with GCP or Dialogflow or Google Actions because I don't own an Echo. I don't own anything that's Alexa related, so I just wanted to create something that I can actually test and have more people test it. That's why I decided to do like a Google action instead of like an Alexa action. Do they call it Alexa action? I don't know. Yeah, so Alexa scale, not action. Yeah, Alexa scale. So while I was exploring like these chatbots and the conversational AI, I realized that Google Translate API, the pre-trained model translation, does not have Chi, which is my mother tongue. I speak Chi on a regular. I barely speak English with my friends and family. I always speak Chi. So I wanted to create like an action that translated English stuff to Chi. That's what that was the main, like the grand goal I started working on. But then I wanted to, because I'd never deployed any action before, I wanted to test out the waters first, and that's how come I decided to do this very first one. So this Google action called Ghana Trivia is not like a deployed full state, it's just the testing state. That's why I really wanted people to test it out and see how people engage with the product, so that when I do finally deploy my the actual action I've been working on, it will make more sense, if that makes sense. Yeah. So first things first, you should be aware of the Actions console platform, which is found at console.actions.google.com, which is a very simple developer platform. I really enjoyed this. It shows you your recent projects, other projects, etc. So if you want to create a new project, you just go to console.actions.google.com, click New Projects. So let's just say I already have projects on my Google Cloud. Okay, let's just do test one. Yeah, so so one thing that I do like to say is that there's a lot of documentation for creating actions. And so if you want to create an action, Google has a lot of great documentations, which makes it relatively easier to deploy. So if you're still on the fence about trying it out, I suggest you just jump into it. Now, when you click on create a new project, this is what it shows you. It's super cool. Games and fun, home control, kids. Like I think the actions are segmented into various things that you want to. So depending on what you want to do, you just click one. And so I would suggest that you go through all these tabs, not just because like you want to build something in social communication, but just so you can see what it looks like. So try all of this out. That's what I would suggest, like especially if you're very new, go to every single one of them and then try it out. Yeah, before you decide on what, especially if you don't know what you want to do, just try all of them out and see examples of actions that are that relate to these particular categories and see what interests you. So one thing I will also notice, the more options here, it says templates, actions, SDK, device registration, conversational. So if you're like super new and you don't know, I think you should try out the templates, because Google has created all these amazing templates that you can try out first. So there's even a create a video tutorial, share your knowledge with your world. There's games and fun. So these are like simple templates that anybody can just create, especially if this is your very first or your first action. Yeah, I actually use one of these templates for the Ghana quiz. So for flashcards, it says personality. Go to the develop tab, it says personality, you pick one. Let's do.
I like that answer because it's right. Pencils down. The
Regal Queen.
Your intelligence is staggering. I call that a right answer.
Okay, so let's go to
I guess that's the end. Now let's see how well you did.
Fill your contents.
Now that's the way to play trivia. You got all 3 right.
Let me pause this. Yeah. After you're done with selecting your personality, you fill in your content. And these templates are pre-filled Google Sheets that can be easily modified and uploaded. See? Google really wants you to create actions. So let's click on this. Make a copy of it. See? So you can edit these flashcards to your liking. Yeah, you can change the answers, the hints. You can do the following. We're gonna keep this just like this. Then gonna go to next, upload. So depending on how you edit this, especially this is for, and you want to create give you an example, show you how, like, if you're like super. So there are so many templates. I'm doing the flashcards right now. There's also one for the quiz, which I built the Ghana trivia on. It's still on the flashcards. It takes a while. Yeah, and the fun part is the testing. So you can pick which surface you want to test on here, and I spend I think most of your time will be spent testing your action, especially if you're like me. Every tweak you make, you try to test it. So this is actually awesome. So before you even deploy it, allows you to test on various surfaces, whether it's the phone, the Google Home Mini or whatever, and also for like a smart display. So let's test this out. You can do voice or text. So let's just do allow microphone. Talk to my test app.
Okay, let's get the test version of my test app.
Welcome to the fun flashcards game. Let's see if we can boost that memory. In this game, I'll ask you some questions about animals. Ready to play?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay, here's your first one. What's the baby animal name for dolphin?
Hint.
Okay, your hint is, this is similar to a baby dog. Now what's your answer?
Puppy.
I see what you did there, but that's not right. The answer is pup. Next up. What's the baby?
Okay, so you can do multiple.
My test app isn't responding right now. Try again soon.
And you can test the surfaces. So she's going to spend a lot of time here. So even during your testing stage, you can call it, you can talk to my test app on a Google Assistant device, and it will be able to test it if you wanted to test it live instead of like just with this interface. So you can do that. So after you're done thoroughly testing it, when you want to deploy, one thing that you should do is to disable testing before you deploy, because if you don't, it's going to cause a lot of issues. I faced those issues at first, but after debugging, I realized that you have to disable testing. If you do want to deploy, you have to disable testing before you continue to deploy. When you get to the deploy stage, you have to give some description, full description, fill in some information, put everything in it, and then after everything is done and selected, you know what, let's just put some words. So tested. I think one thing that Google does really well is that they are very particular about the things that the actions contain, and yeah. Oh. Just so you guys see what it looks like before you hit the odd, no drum. Okay. You have to fill out a privacy policy form, which you can sample it up, and then you can use a sample document, edit it, and then add it to the stage, which is really cool because Google has already done everything. All you have to do is put in your information, and then the developer, app name, developer, they've written everything for you, which is awesome. So we're not going to do all of that, but just so you guys see what it looks like. So after you fill out all that information, you get to deploy, and it's going to take about 1 to 2 days for them to get back to you. And if they have any issues, particularly if your naming doesn't correspond to your device, to your action, they're going to tell you, hey, we can't deploy this, blah blah blah. Or if it contains certain things that violate their policies, they're going to be like, hey, we can't do that. But awesomely, if you do get approved, pre-approved, it goes live. So before it goes live, it has to be approved by Google. So if Google approves it, it goes live, and it's the best feeling in the world to have someone test it out. So for those of us who are more technically inclined and prefer to use like command line tools, the Actions SDK is great. And like I said, Google has amazing resources for trying things out, for setting up their action stuff. They have great documentation. It will get you through step by step. So that's one thing you should definitely check out if you're more technically inclined and you prefer like a command line interface to like a regular user interface. Yeah, but if you want to do something that's more customizable, instead of like using the template from Google like I showed you with the flashcards game, you could go to the conversational AI, and this is just like the what's it called, the dialog flow. If you're very comfortable using dialog flow, this is what you should go to instead of like doing like the template. You should definitely try this out. It allows you to add intent. It allows you to add custom intents that you can build, which is just like dialog flow. So if you're very good with dialog flow and you want to do that, instead of, if you want to build something from scratch instead of using a template, this is what you do. So yeah, so that's how to build your first action on the Google Action platform. Yeah, and one good thing that I'll note is that like when you get your first action deployed, Google sends you a shirt and also $200 credits for the GCP platform, every month for a year. So that's like a dream. If you like exploring technology like me, that's a dream. So you should definitely try it out. And it can be anything. I don't think it has to be something that's like world changing. Just experiment with it and see like, hey, what's all this about? So definitely check it out. And I'm going to try to put a link of all the resources that I used in this post. So if there's anything you'd like to check out, you should definitely check out the post as well. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great one. Till next time, peace.